Well, good morning. We are at Arlington Life Shelter, and this is an incredible community service that's been around for decades here in Arlington. And get to spend some time with Stephanie Melchirk and then Winta. And tell us a little bit about Arlington Life Shelter. I mean, you guys have an amazing history. Y'all serve the community well 24/7, 365 days a year. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
Thank you. You bet. So we have been around for decades, over 36 years. And we started out as a night shelter. We served mainly men and individual women, all from 4 p.m. to about 8 a.m. as a night shelter. Gave them a hot meal, which was provided mainly by our faith-based community. And then we kind of fast forward and realized that the homeless community was seeing a rise in families. And so back in 2018-19, we started a capital campaign to expand our existing facility to include an upstairs with 7 family bedrooms. And we are so glad we did that because the increase of family homelessness has been on the rise ever since. So we flipped the switch on June 4th of 2020, and we became a 24/7, 365 days a year, 24/7 shelter serving families and continuing to serve individual men and women. What I'm so proud of is our team and the fact that we have specialized case managers for our clients. Homelessness is not going away. I guess the biggest thing, we have a caring, loving team here that helps those individuals. And, if we could just bust the myths of homelessness in our community, that would be my number one goal as well. We're glad we're here.
We're glad you are too. And way to open up on June, the
Yes.
24/7 side of things, June 4th, 2020. There's nothing going on then. Jeez.
Nope.
One of the things that we also asked you about was there somebody that serves here that just really embodies the vision of Arlington Life Shelter and has some history here and just loves the community well? And tell us why you chose Winta. Tell us why she's here with us today.
When that email came across and our phone call, right away I thought of Winta because of our families and just that personal, caring, loving time that she spends with each one of our families. So when Winta has a caseload of her families, it's not just some of our other case managers might have 15 on their caseload, but Winta might have 15 times, the 4 and 6 children. So for her just to have that individual time with them, talking separately with the parent and or the parents and finding out just what their needs are. And she's here on nights and weekends on her own time just to, help them with maybe they had a sporting event that they wanted to get to. And so she would drive them there or whatever. And so she's been with us for 9 years. She started as a resident assistant, has worked her way up, and so proud of everything she's done and just the love and just giving them dignity. They're in a hiccup. They have a speed bump right now in their life, and knowing that they can come here and just be loved and giving them direction and keeping them accountable and getting them back to self-sufficiency, because that's our mission.
Yeah, so. I love that. One of my favorite quotes is by a guy named John Perkins, and John Perkins said that not only it's not that we're necessarily giving people dignity, but we're affirming the dignity that they already have as people created in the image of God. And I so appreciate how Arlington Life Shelter does that so well. So, Winta, what's the short version of how you got here?
I started in 2015 as part-time RA. I was just looking for a job and had the pleasure of working with Rachel and Melvin, and taught me everything I know about the homeless community and North Texans experiencing homelessness. I do feel like I was chosen for this career specifically. It was a long time coming, but it was very affirming to see in direct services the impact of everything. It overcomes a lot of the struggles for sure. Yeah.
It's probably easy, well, it is easy for us to take things for granted.
Yeah.
And as y'all on a day-to-day basis see things that, some basic needs
Yeah.
that people don't always get, and y'all are able to provide them.
It's never a dull moment.
What, I'm sure that's true too. But what has been one of the hardest things for you as you've interfaced with families?
A lot of times, their struggles are, everybody's situation is unique, but a lot of the same challenges exist. And having to get creative and find solutions for their issues that it seems like, is very consistent. But I know that everyone I work with, back, front, and back, and all around, we all do the same kind of brainstorming and creative problem solving. And that's kind of how we ended up in this room here. It started out as a much smaller space with no partnership, and now, we have one answer to a problem that we've been dealing with for a long time. So I guess it would be patience. A lot of my greatest struggle is just being patient for that, just to, see the light at the end or come up with a streamlined solution. But I know that we're all working on it every day.
What's been one of the greatest joys?
It's rewarding every day. Every little, I can't take for granted anything that we accomplish. So part of social work tenets would be to motivate the person in front of you who's in the trenches. And sometimes, initially, I had the greatest imposter syndrome of thinking like trying to congratulate someone on taking the step of coming to a shelter in my brain sounds ridiculous. But just being humble and trying to get on everyone's level, the person sitting across from me, it's taught me so much. So I learn something every day, and then I see them learn something every day, and reflecting on that really it's added up tenfold over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're speaking directly to a church right now, as well as other folks that are going to be watching this. But what would be some of the myths that may be common to people who wouldn't otherwise know?
That the people who end up in homelessness, sometimes, I think most of the time, it was not their own doing. There's many systems that each one of us work and interact with every day, and we depend on those systems, and we also give back into those systems. So sometimes our systems fail us, and we take the responsibility of that. And in turn, someone who's never been homeless would have no idea how to relate to that. But it was a financial education class here that taught me that we are all only a certain number of emergencies away from seeking shelter. If it's with friends, that's homeless. If you're seeking shelter to your family, you're homeless. And it wasn't your fault. So just understanding that has been a big obstacle, I guess. It's a big myth that's out there.
Has there been some joy in being able to see people move forward in life? And if there's a story that you could tell without names, of course, of maybe a family that you've been able to love and serve and care for, and then they're thriving now in some way.
That is one of my greatest joys, is to just get pleasantly surprised by a phone call or a visit or any kind of correspondence, to know that somebody has moved on and moved upwards and wanted to check back in or say thank you. sometimes there is recidivism. So someone that we put all of this effort into and they did all of this work, like I said, the systems around them, we have brought them back here. And so sometimes that can trip you up and make you feel like you're taking steps backward. But I guess, yeah, there's one family that was one of my first when I became a case manager. And I just took as like some learning lessons because I just faking it till I'm making it. But we got along and we saw eye to eye. They were the same age as me and they had like the cutest baby, just the cutest like little girl. And she moved well into her apartment. And then I remember the last time I saw her was delivering like some furniture to her new apartment. And she had another case manager that followed up with her. And we had to stay in contact just for them to be able to help that family on the same level, picking up where we left off. And then a year later, on like around that same time, she just showed up at the front door. She had a car. She offered me a massage. She was a massage therapist. And I was like, I can't do that, but thank you.
I love that.
It was awesome.
Well, Lemmy, as somebody who's lived in Arlington most of his life, you know, personally, I've been able to see the fruit of Arlington Life Shelter. I know our church has partnered at certain moments, and they have seen the fruit of Arlington Life Shelter. And on those days where maybe it feels like, man, are we having to repeat this again? I hope you know that the value that you and your team are giving this community and the lives of people is phenomenal. Part of this too that Stephanie didn't tell you about, and I'm just going to reveal right now. Well, you already know you're on camera, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, part of this too is, you know, just as a church, we just want to bless people who are serving well. And again, Stephanie, well, she just gave you some real encouragement. We would like to follow up her encouragement and just give you $1,000 that you, just to say thank you. There's no strings attached for you. Thank you for serving the community and thank you for serving Arlington.
Oh,
This is for you personally.
okay.
However you want to use it. We're not checking in on it.
Okay.
And the Arlington Life Shelter isn't.
Okay.
So
Wow.
when they called and said that they wanted to, we've been partners for years, but is there a employee that I wanted to stand out? And so, and it made perfect sense because of families. So
Yeah.
You said you weren't going to be crying.
That's so awesome.
Well, yeah, we're appreciative to be here today. Thanks so much. We love this work.
thank you.
So,
And we might say it a lot, but we really truly do mean it, that we cannot do what we do inside these four walls with our community. So thank you so very much for Lake Church. So.
Yeah.